World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Here we go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Memorial Day. It is Memorial Day. It's a Monday here in New York City, and it's very sunny and very warm. Thank God. And I'm here. We're going to do a special report today. I've been looking to do this for a while now, and today just happened to be the day that we're able to do it. So we got a very special guest. I'm going to jump right on into it. My guest is coming from, you guys have heard of one of the most legendary parks in America. Is a park called Rucker's. Rucker's Park in Harlem is a legendary park where many basketball players come to play, to earn their stripes, to get their nicknames, and to show the world that they are one of the best. Dr. J played there, Kevin Durant, you name it. Everybody played there. Kobe Bryant, they all played there, and we'll talk more about that. I got the brother here who is one of the founders of that basketball tournament and what goes on in the park. I'm gonna bring him on real quick and right now. His name is Bob McCoullah, and here he is. Bob, how you doing, my brother?
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. Really, this is a special holiday where we are honoring the veterans who've given their lives to protect our country. Mm-hmm. And I just want you to know that Rucker Park is an historical park. It is internationally known because what happened was Holcomb Rucker, who was responsible for sending over 700 boys and girls to college, didn't have a high school diploma. He worked for the New York City Department of Parks. But during the summertime, he ran a basketball tournament to keep the youth out of trouble. More people that were Rucker's age group thought that basketball was a winter sport, and in the summer you should rest. And Rucker told them that this was an opportunity to keep the boys and girls out of trouble. So he went on with his tournament, although his critics thought that he shouldn't do it. But what happened that a lot of college coaches who was on vacation heard about the Rucker tournament. And they came up and they recruited a lot of players from Winston-Salem University, from North Carolina A&T, from St. Augustine College in North Carolina, and also from Virginia Union, and a lot of people in the Bronx also went to different colleges, like at Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. and a lot of them went to A&T college. But for me, when I played on the team, I was on the bench because I was in a gang and I was running around and I got in trouble. And Rucker and my godmother, I didn't know she was going to be my godmother. She was the director of the center, Miss Lorraine Younger. She was from a famous Younger family because her oldest brother was a member of the first black college basketball All-American team from Clark College in Atlanta, Georgia. And that was 1939. Her other brother, Eddie Younger, was a member of the world famous New York Wrens, the first world championship team. And Mrs. Younger herself was well famous in the Harlem community. She was the director of St. Philip's Community Center, and she's also the camp counselor of Menacing Townhouse. Well, when I got arrested, Rucker and Ms. Younger came to the 32nd Precinct to have me released in their reconnaissance, and they said no. It had to be my mother or my father. So later on, my mother came and they released me. So Ms. Younger asked Rucker to put me on the team, keep me out of trouble. I was on the bench. I didn't play unless we were 20 points ahead. Then Rucker put me in the game. So anyway, one of my best friends, who was the most valuable player on the team, said, "You want to know why Rucker don't play you?" I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you don't shoot enough." I said, "Oh, that's what it is." So anyway, 2 years later, I became the highest scorer on the team as a junior. And then as a senior, I became the highest scorer on the team again. Wow. And then what happened was that Rucker sent me to college in Texas. I went to Texas to play, but it wasn't a good experience in Texas because all the girls loved me because I was from New York, but the guys couldn't stand me, you know. And I got into 2 fights. I got sent home, but the students wanted me to come back. New York, come back, Bob McCoullah. So I came back, but I just couldn't stay there, you know? So I came home. I told Rucker I wasn't going back to college anymore because I can always tell my kids I went to college. So he's writing as I'm talking. I said, "Rucker, what are you writing?" He said, "I'm writing Big House Games, the coach of Winston-Salem College." I said, "For what?" "I'm writing about you, Mac." I said, what are you doing?" "I'm telling him you're the best player that he ever seen. He will ever see since Jack the First." I said, no, Rucker, you can't do that. Jack the First is a pro player in your tournament. He said, "I don't care." He said, "Mac, don't you understand? When I send him this letter, he gonna want to see who you are." I said, "Okay." I realized I got to be on my AA game when I go down. But it didn't happen. What happened was that I had a chance to go to Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. And I said yes. The coach came up from Benedict College. We tried out on the terrace up there, 127th Street, 128th Street, the terrace. And I made jump shots, I believe, from both corners. Yeah, and the coach saw everything that he wanted to see. And I packed up my bags and I went down there, and I went down there with guys I didn't know that we were going to make history together on a team. I just didn't know it. Because in 1964, which is my junior year, our team was the national scoring championship team in the nation. Man, we outscored every team in the nation. I'm serious. UCLA, I'm talking about North Carolina, I'm talking about South Carolina, I'm talking about Michigan, I'm talking about Kentucky, I'm talking about Florida A&M, I'm talking about Grambling, I'm talking about Norfolk State, I'm talking about every college in the nation. We averaged 101.2 points per game. We outscored every college in the nation. We won the national scoring championship in 1964. And then in 1965, what happened was I became the leading scorer in the nation.
Wow.
I wind up being the second leading scorer in the nation behind Rick Barry. And I was drafted in the NBA by the Cincinnati Royals, where the great all-star player, Oscar Robertson, was playing. And I also received a contract with the Harlem Globetrotters the same year. And what happened was that Oscar Robertson was holding out for more money. And then when I played 15 games with the Cincinnati Royals, an exhibition season, and Oscar kept track of what I was doing and how I was doing each game, what was happening. And he signed the contract early. And when he signed the contract, we played against each other in the practices. And then when I got cut, the coach said, I have to release you, but I want to tell you one thing. You have nothing to be ashamed of, because you being cut for the greatest player in the world in professional sports. But instead of me going to the Harlem Globetrotters, I had a choice to come back to New York and further the tournament that Rucker had started. Because Rucker was sending a lot of youngsters to college, but he had died from cancer the year I graduated, the year that I was drafted by the Cincinnati Royals and received a contract from the Harlem Globetrotters. Rucker had died from cancer at the age of 38. So I decided to come back to New York and to further his tournament, but to have a pro division, something that no one has ever had. Rucker had a pro division, but we are going to have a pro tournament. Nothing but pros. But Rucker had the junior high school division, high school division, college division, pro division, and he also had girls. All of them was in his tournament. But Freddie Crawford from the New York Knicks, he also played with the LA Lakers and the Milwaukee Bucks. He and I decided just to have a pro tournament. And we did that. And we went to the Knicks, and the Knicks said they wanted their players to be seasoned. So they sent Willis Reed, Nate Bowman, Emmett Bryant, and then Bill Bradley came down.
Wow. That was Bill Bradley.
Yeah, and then Cassie Russell came down. Oh, man. They had a lot of guys. And with the
whole
Knicks,
team.
Yeah, but the Knicks said they can't all play on the same team. And Johnny Green, who was an ex-Knick, he was there too. He said, let at least 2 or 3 of them play on different teams, because every game a team would be playing against a pro player.
Mm-hmm.
So it was spread out.
Okay.
And Dave Stallworth and Cassie Russell played on one team.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny Green and Bill Bradley played on another team. And Freddie Crawford, Willis Reed, Nate Bowman, Emmett Bryant played on a different team with me.
Okay.
We were called the Rucker Pros. So everybody had a pro on their team. And then later on, Hawthorne Wingo, who got discovered in Rucker Park to play for the Knicks, and he played on their championship team.
Yes, I remember that.
The second championship team, he played with Sports Foundation, which was another team. So we had different players to play. Then members of the Harlem Globetrotters came. Bobby Hunter from the Harlem Globetrotters. The great Pablo Robinson, the greatest passer in the history of the Rucker tournament from the Harlem Globetrotters. Ron Jackson from the Harlem Globetrotters. And then for the great Millbank team, we had Joe the Destroyer, Hammond. Pee-wee.
Joe Hammond.
And then Vincent White from the Harlem Globetrotters played on their team. So they had Harlem Globetrotters on different teams, along with NBA players. And then, whoa, and behold, here comes a player who does not want to finish his college education.
Okay.
He wants to sign pro. And before he plays pro ball, he has a wish to always play in the Rucker Pro tournament because he heard about the competition in the Rucker Pro tournament. So therefore, he came to play. And when everybody heard about this player who did not want to finish his college education, but he wanted to play in Rucker Park, we had the greatest crowd in the history of the Rucker Pro tournament to come. Matt, they were all on the roof.
I remember. I've seen those pictures.
They was in the trees. They were all in the stands.
Can I name that player? Can I name that player?
Yeah.
I bet you I know that player. If my history of Rucker serves me correctly, that player also got his nickname by playing in Rucker, correct?
Correct.
And so I'm going to say if I'm on Jeopardy and who is the one of the greatest basketball players of all time that got his nickname at Rucker and drew all that crowd, I'm going to say for $10,000 is Dr. J. Julius Erving.
You won $10,000. That's what you won. It was
my history.
Julius Erving. Dr. J came and everybody came to see him.
Wow.
Oh man, it was outrageous. I mean, it was beautiful. Look, we had to stop the game.
Wow.
The police came to me and said, Bob, Mr. McCullough, we know everybody coming here to see Julius Erving. He pointed and said, but would you please ask them to come off the roof? He said, because somebody might get hurt. So I got on the mic and I said, look, y'all have to come off the roof. And they said, I said, if you don't come off the roof, I'm going to cancel the game. They hurry up and got off the roof.
Wow. Bob, let me ask you a question. Wow.
They want to see the game.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question before you go any further. So we're talking about at this point, this is what, the late 60s, I believe? If I'm not mistaken? Oh, 70s. Okay, 70s. So
Willis Reed and them are from the
Willis Reed was
60s.
playing, right. Because the Knicks won their last championship in 73, I believe it was, correct? The Knicks
Yeah,
won the last
72.
73. So if at that point Rucker had already established the park, the pro tournament at Rutgers was a legendary event across the country by that time. So everybody wanted to come and play.
Exactly. Even Julius Erving, who lives in Long Island, knew about the park.
Gotcha.
But the park was named Rucker, Park in 1969 by Mayor John V. Lindsay. He named the park Rucker Park because the newspapers were covering all of the NBA players that was coming to play for free. Because what Freddie Crawford and I decided to do is to make it possible for young people to see NBA players for free.
What?
Because many young people could not afford to buy a ticket to see NBA stars at Madison Square Garden. So in essence, we brought Madison Square Garden to Harlem for the youth of New York City, whether you're in Brooklyn, whether you're in the Bronx, whether you're in Queens or Staten Island, you can come to Rucker Park and see NBA players for free. The mayor wanted to know who were these players and this organization that were providing an opportunity for kids to come and see professional athletes play for free. And it helped keep the city of New York cool without rioting, because there was happening riots after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. death, after he got killed. But in Harlem, there was no riots. So he wanted to come up and see what it was all about and asked me what I wanted. And I told him I wanted the park to be named Holcomb Rucker Park. Now, all of this was before Julius Erving came.
Wow. So just to give everybody some more history of Rucker Park and how legendary it is around the world. I mean, people come from all around the world to play at Rucker Park. And I know a lot of major NBA players came there because it was like a rites of passage. You couldn't consider yourself one of the best players in the NBA if you didn't play at Rucker Park. Am I correct?
Right. That's correct.
So I'm just going to drop some names that I know played at Rucker. I know we talked about Dr. J, Julius Erving being there. We talked about Willis Reed and Bill Bradley and the players from the Knicks. But also Nate Archibald played at Rucker Park, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, Nate Archibald is the only player in the history of the NBA that won the title.
Wow.
As the top scorer.
Wow.
And the top assist player in the same year. No other player has ever done that in the history of the NBA. He's the only one.
Right. Wow. So you have Nate Archibald. We have now I want to talk even further up now, coming forward, to the we had the late great Kobe Bryant played at Rucker Park. Kobe came to Rucker. Kevin Durant came to Rucker Park to play. So we have all these big name superstar players who couldn't rest and couldn't enjoy the NBA careers until they came to Rucker to prove themselves. Right. So Rucker was the proving grounds, correct?
Yes, but Vince Carter.
Yes, okay. Wow. I'm leaving out dozens and dozens of names. I know that much of the legends who played at Rucker Park. And that's very interesting how dynamic Rucker was all across the world, where people knew that if you played basketball, you're not a real basketball player until you came to Rucker and proved yourself. I don't care about you playing. Even if you played in the NBA and you were a star, you had to put your sneakers on and come to Rucker Park and play. It was a
Right.
must to do that, to
Right.
prove yourself.
You're right.
Let me ask you this, and then we're going to jump forward because we got a short period of time. We got to do a 2-part with you on Rucker Park, maybe a 3-part series on you with Rucker Park. But we're going to jump forward to an event that's coming up soon. But before we get there, have there been any women who played at Rucker Park?
Yes. Well, first of all, there's a whole host of women.
Mhm.
Many of them have gone on to be very, very famous.
Mhm.
I can tell you Gail Marquise
Mhm.
from Queens College. She, I believe, won the bronze medal in the Olympics.
Okay.
There's Carol Blazejowski,
Mhm.
who scored 50 points in Madison Square Garden when she was in college.
Mhm.
And she played in the WNBA. And she was also one time the president of the Liberty
Mhm.
when they were in Madison Square Garden.
Mhm.
And she was in she won a medal in the Olympics,
Mhm.
a different year from Gail.
Mhm.
And then there's Nancy Lieberman,
Oh wow! Right. Okay.
who won a medal in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And Nancy Lieberman is the first female to play in a pro tournament in the Rucker Pro League. And she's the first female to coach in the NBA.
Right.
And she's the first female to win the 3-on-3 championship as
Wow.
a coach.
Mm.
So there you have the top
Mhm.
3 women. Gail Marquise from Queens College.
Mhm.
And then you have Carol Blazejowski, who played in the WNBA and also was the president of the Liberty when they were in Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
And then you have Nancy Lieberman. Now, the other thing that I want to say is that we had a lot of young ladies who played against them
Mhm.
and did good. One is Renee Poole, who was the most valuable player in the league.
Mhm.
And I'm talking about the Each One Teach One basketball tournament in Rucker Park, where all of them played.
Mhm.
Renee Poole was the most valuable player. She's passed away.
Mhm.
The other one is Niecy Lloyd and Niecy Green. And then there is a young lady that tried out for the Olympic team that should have been on the Olympic team with Nancy Lieberman and Carol Blazejowski. The same year the 2 of them was on the Olympic team. Okay? And her name is Janice Thomas. Janice Thomas should have been on the Olympic team, but she got cut,
Okay.
the last cut. And some people say it was racism, but Janice should have been on that team. Now, there's a young lady named, Janice Thomas and Cheese. Um, uh, uh, they were on the first pro team before the WNBA.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
So anyway, we've had a lot.
Yeah.
We've
I mean, it's in Harlem. The legend. I mean, Harlem is the most well-known Black community in the world. Um, and Rucker is in Harlem, but Rucker catered and had everybody come, Black, white, male, female, to play there, because of the legendary status that it had in the basketball lore of uh the greatness of basketball. If you were a player, you had to come to Harlem and play at Rucker, no matter if you were male, female, Black, white, Latino, whoever you were, you had to come and play at Rucker tournament. Um, and that's a beautiful thing. And Rucker started when again? What year did it start?
1950.
1950. So here we are, 2022, and Rucker is still going strong. Um, and Bob, that's a credit to you for all the years you put in, because you started when, back in 65, you say?
65. You got it.
65. Wow.
So
And
yeah,
wow.
that's 57 years ago.
Wow. So we got to give you credit for
57 years I've been running the
wow.
tournaments there, and we stopped with the pros. We now have the each one teach one
Yes.
high school players.
Yes.
We also have a division called the Bob McCoullah Day Camp.
Okay.
They're 9 years old and under.
Wow.
And then we have the biddies, which is 12 years old and under.
hmm
And then we have middle school and high school.
Okay. Okay. So, wow. So you have all these different divisions in Rucker. Let's talk a little about the pro legends and what's coming up soon. You have a anniversary coming up. I think it's the what's the anniversary coming up? Let's see
Saturday,
what's up on the
August
screen.
6th.
There you go. So it's the Pro Legends anniversary reunion. 55 years. So it's the Hall of Fame induction. Who's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year?
Well, we have the legendary Floyd Lane.
Okay.
He is now 94 years old.
Wow.
Floyd Lane was part of the double championship team, the only team in the history of the world to win 2 national championships, college championships, in the same year. The NIT, and the NCAA in the same year.
Wow.
It can't be done anymore because now they have both tournaments almost at the same time. So you can't be in 2 tournaments.
Right. Okay. Okay. Who else is getting inducted this year?
We're going to have Lloyd Williams, who is the chairman of Harlem Week and the president of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. He's going in to the Hall of Fame as a contributor to basketball.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And we are also putting in Holcomb Rucker as a contributor to basketball.
Okay.
How many? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you how many years, how many people are in the Rucker Park Hall of Fame right now?
How what?
How many people are actually in the Hall of Fame right now?
Oh, they got a lot of people in the Hall of Fame right now. it's too large and too strenuous for me to go into
Right.
it, but they have a lot of them.
So,
But anyway,
so Nate will be there this year. Or Nate Archibald will be this year. Will he be there?
yeah.
Okay.
So, so anyway, we also have John Snooki Walker. I don't know if you remember on the corner of 137th Street, there was a restaurant called Snooki's Sugar Bowl.
That's before my time, I think.
All right. Well, we honored him. We're also honoring Nancy Lieberman. We're putting her into the Hall of Fame.
Excellent.
And we're putting in someone who coached Dr. J along with Pete Vesey. His name is, you might remember him, John Butch Purcell. He used to be involved with Halloween.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the people we are putting in. Snooki Walker, Holcomb Rucker. We putting in Lloyd Williams. We putting in John Purcell. And we also putting in Walter Serbiak, who played with Dr. J during those years. We putting him in. And we're putting in Frank Streety from the Harlem Globetrotters. He's being inducted.
Okay.
And we inducted Cecil Watkins from the National Basketball Association. We putting him in.
Okay. All right. This is going to be a big event. The event is taking place at the Alhambra Ballroom. And ladies and gentlemen, I will post that event on a regular basis so that you can get your tickets and come and see all the great ball players, past, present, and future, who will be there at the Alhambra Ballroom. What's the date on that again?
Saturday, August 6th.
August 6th.
2022.
And so I'll be there, and we're gonna, hopefully we can cover it and bring it live to people so they can see it and see the greatness of what the people who have come through this great tournament called Rucker Pro Legends. And so Rucker now has a lot of different divisions that you talked about. You got the youth division, you got the Pro Legends division, high school, college. What is it? What's the future of Rucker right now? Where do you see Rucker go? I mean, you've done everything damn near. What's the future of Rucker? We're going to take this international. What's going on?
Well, what I see us doing is playing against Philadelphia.
Okay.
Playing against, I would say, Stamford, Connecticut. But the problem is that we need to connect with a youth program in Stamford, Connecticut. New Jersey, Baltimore. So we have Philadelphia, Stamford, Connecticut, New Jersey, Baltimore. That's 4 cities.
Right,
okay?
right.
One is Jersey, one is Philadelphia, one is Connecticut, right? And one is Philadelphia. That's 4 cities. The 5th city, I don't know, but I guess we could. And that's Washington, D.C.
Okay.
That's 5 cities.
Okay.
That's the future of us playing against those cities.
Okay.
But we need sponsorship.
Right.
To hire buses to be able to go there, or to buy a van so we can go there, or to what we call lease a van on a 3-year, deal.
Okay.
But we would have that we can travel to those 5 cities to play all-star games, so we can develop a relationship, and also use the van for our college tours.
Okay.
To take our high school students to different colleges in those cities, so they could be on a college campus.
Okay.
So they can have an experience of college life on those colleges in those 5 cities that we have all-star games against. And to also help our youth study for the exam that they have to pass in order to graduate from high school, called the Regents exam. In New York City, everybody must pass the Regents exam. We help them with the Regents exam by giving them all Regents exam, testing them, and then after they finish the test, we give them the answers so they can compare their answers to the correct answers. We do that twice a week to prepare them for the Regents exam. We do the same thing with the SAT for college.
Okay.
The ACT to prepare them. And we also have a writing competition, preparing them to write the college admissions director asking for applications.
Okay.
If you want to communicate with the college, we want to make sure there are no grammatical errors. We want to make sure before any letters go out, you write to us. But we also tell them, anytime you do any writing, go to your English teacher and have your writing corrected. Because it doesn't make sense for you to want to go to a college and you are not writing grammatically correct in your request for an application to go to college. That just doesn't make sense. So we teach them how to use correct grammar when they request information. So, and we also, this is the last thing, guide them in grants for scholarships, because loans are a no-no. We guide them to grants.
Right.
There's the Millennium Gates grant.
Gotcha.
Husband and wife, even though they're broke up, they still have their grant together. It's like $1 billion that we can lead them to that. You got to get your counselors, you got to get your educators, you got to get different letters, references when you apply to that grant. Then there's a college scholarship grant. We got different grants that we help them to apply for. But once again, when you apply for them, you must be grammatically correct. Right. So these are the things that we do. Now, we have no funding for what I just told you for the college tour. We have no funding for going to different cities and different colleges. We have no funding for helping them with the Regents exam. We have no funding for helping them with the SAT and the ACT. We have no funding for helping them with writing grammatically correct. We have no funding helping them looking for grants.
Right.
This is what we do.
So let me ask you this. Let's just get it in the short time we have left, about 15 minutes left. In that short period of time, let's dive into, and we'll come back again and talk more in detail about it, but let's dive into that funding. I want to dive into two things: the funding that you need, Because we would think all these pro basketball players who have come through there and played, and all these people who come to Rucker and played, we should be able to get you funding for everything you need with no problem. And so let's take this moment and talk to the people. How much funding do you need, you think, per year just to do what you're doing with the kids in the park?
Are you talking about basketball or college
Well, let's
too?
talk about all things, because you have another project. I was going to talk about each one, teach one. So there's the each one, teach one side, correct?
That's the tournaments, and then it's college tour.
Okay.
All of that is
So just
continued.
all together, give me a roundabout price.
Huh?
No, give me a roundabout price to run everything that you're doing under this.
The two components.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in order to do the two components, we're talking about $55,000 to do the two components.
Wow, that's nothing. That's really nothing. We should, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching it, we don't know who's watching it right now, who will be watching it later, but $55,000 is not a lot of money to run this program. That's all that they need to run these programs. So we need to get this money together, and we need to call our celebrities and our pro players and get them all involved in coming in and make sure that Rucker keeps moving and keeps doing it. It's made legends out of a lot of people. Some of these legends need to give back and need to help out what's going on. Come back into the community and give to the community. Help these kids in college get the college scholarships. We talked today to my sister was talking to you earlier about financial literacy. We want to do that for the kids too and their parents. There's so many things. I mean, Rucker has given back so much joy to the community for what you guys do every year. It is not just in the summertime. You guys do this all year round, correct?
Yes.
This is an all year round event. I mean, the summertime is when people come to watch the basketball, but all year round, the kids are involved in the Rucker, scope of things. What's going on is happening in Harlem with Rucker for the kids all year round at gymnasiums and in schools and what have you. We need to keep these programs going so these kids can learn and they can go into the pros. And even if they don't make it to the pros, they always have knowledge from what they learned from the Rucker Park tournament. I keep calling it Rucker Park tournament because it's the first thing that comes to mind, but the each one teach one is part of that.
Yeah, each one teach one. You're right.
And we need to make sure that you know the community and the people outside the community who know Rucker and they know about each one teach one. They need to know we need to have a campaign to raise this money. And I'm going to set it at $100,000. We're going to do a campaign and raise $100,000 to keep this thing going, and so we can make Rucker and make these kids powerful in what they're doing going forth in the future. So, Bob, is any last words you want to give right now? Because we're going to come back again, and we're going to talk more heavily about each one teach one next time. But any last words you want to give to the audience right now?
Yes. Well, I just want all the audience to remember that this is Memorial Day, and we are honoring the veterans who have given their lives for our country. And I just want to also thank Matt McCoy for having me on today. And not only that, I want to thank Matt for his real interest in helping the youth of Harlem, because he doesn't have to do what he's doing, but he cares and he's sincere. And God bless Matt McCoy, because he's really interested in helping us. And I just want to say, Matt, God bless you, because you don't have to do all of this. And I believe that between the two of us and you helping and you making a plea on our behalf, even if we get $25,000 or $15,000, whatever we get, it's going to help us continue our work. Like you said, $55,000 is no money. It's not enough money. But to keep our commitment to the youth of New York City, because, Matt, we don't just deal with harm. We accept all the youth from the city of New York who are interested in college, who want our help. So whoever funds us will be funding the youth of the city of New York, not Harlem. We just happen to be located in Harlem. So I want to take this time to thank you for this opportunity. Thank you very much, man.
No problem, bro. You know, I want to say that, and I appreciate your words, but I believe that it is my duty to help as much as I can. I believe that it's everybody's duty when it comes to the youth and positive programs in the community. Now, we can't help everybody, but there's always something that you could find that you can give your time to. If you can't give money to it, you can give time to it. You can find ways to help an organization out in your community. And I believe, especially Black people in our communities, we need to give back. You know, when we get a little success in life or whatever, we need to find ways to give back. If we can't do it monetarily, we can give some time back. We can give our connections back. I came up and grew up in the Bronx, and I grew up in the Bronx, and I was in Northeast Bronx primarily, near Mount Vernon. And my time as a youth was spent in the boys' club in Mount Vernon. And there was a lot of men who gave their time to the kids in the boys' club. I played basketball in Mount Vernon, in the 4th Street Park in Mount Vernon, and I actually played ball with I know if you remember Lowe's Moore, who he played in the NBA for a short period of time. He was a big college star in college. But I played with his brothers. I played basketball with his brothers. We played, Lowe's Moore came out after Scooter and Rodney McCray came out, and they got into the NBA.
I know
And
those guys. I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah. So I was with them. I was younger. I was, a generation behind them, but I knew all of them, and they all, came out of Mount Vernon. And I always remember understanding and learning that, when you have an opportunity in life to give back in some form or fashion, whether it's time. I coached Little League baseball for free in the Bronx for years. I did a lot of things with the youth, and I was with the NAACP and other organizations. And now that I made Harlem my home, and I brought Soul City to Harlem, I believe it's my responsibility to help out in any way that I can. So I appreciate your words, but no need for it, because I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and God gave me the opportunities to do the things I'm doing. I'm just trying to share as much as I can and give back as much as I can to the community. But I'm thanking you that what you're doing all these years at Rucker Park, and the Each One Teach One, all the kids you are touching and the lives that you are saving. A lot of these kids would probably be in trouble right now, and be in jail or dead if it wasn't for what you guys are doing with the projects and the programs that you guys are doing. So I thank you and all the people who are working. We got to get George on next. We got to get George on with us again, talk about what he's doing with the project. So I just want to everybody out there, please give. I'm going to post the information about the award ceremony coming up. But remember the pro legends at Rucker Park and Each One Teach One. You will hear a lot more about them. We're going to bring Bob back again very soon, and we'll talk some more about Each One Teach One. I really want to dive into that and talk about the kids and what we're doing with the kids, and not also with the kids, but with the parents of the kids, because you got to sometimes teach the parents how to deal with the kids, so they can teach the kids, because the kids learn from their parents usually. I always say grab the parents first, teach them financial literacy, teach them stuff so they can bring it down to the kids, and the kids will pick it up fast if they are inducted into it all day, every day. So I just want to say, Bob, thank you so much for your time, and we will be back once again with a special mayors forum, so I can talk about Each One Teach One and Rucker Pro Legends. And for those of you who are watching, please, Bob, is there a number that they can call or an email that they can go to contact you to make a donation or something?
Oh yes, definitely. They could contact me at area code 646.
Mm-hmm.
The number is 299-9661. My
9641.
my email address is R McCullough, McCullough at msn.com.
Okay, so
Will
you
you
have
able
the
to get
phone
it?
number there. I'm sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
You want me to repeat it?
No, I think I got it right there. That's it right there.
You still do. You got it. That's
There you go.
correct.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the email address you can reach Bob at and inquire about making a donation or giving your time even to help out with what's going
Yeah.
on. And there's the phone
They
number.
have no phone number. Yeah.
So you can call and you can again inquire about how you can help or even how you can get your kids involved. There's people out there who are watching who have kids and grandkids and that they want to get involved. And you can call and send an email and you can find out how you too can be a part of the Each One Teach One and the Rucker Pro Legends. Enjoying Bob McCoullah and what he's doing and all the great work that he's doing. And Bob, we hope you have many more years doing this. But I know you're tired. You want somebody else to take your place for a while.
Thank you.
You
God
know.
bless you.
Thank you, bro. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come back again with some more information about this whole project. But for now, we're going to go and let Bob go enjoy the rest of his day. And you guys be safe out there and enjoy yourselves. Remember, you've been watching Soul City, and we are talking to Bob McCoullah, Rucker Park Pro Legends. And we will be back another day at another time. You guys take care of yourselves and enjoy your lives and be safe. Peace and blessings.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.